Hello guys, and welcome back to another video where today you join me at Mercedes Benz World, where I am going to be taking part in an AMG Driving Experience. So why exactly am I doing a AMG Driving Experience? Well, we were fortunate enough to purchase an AMG A45 S about 18 months ago now, and part of the thing when you buy an AMG is that they treat you to a bit of time in a car that you've purchased out on the track. Now, it's not going to be my own car, it's one of their own cars. And if I just swing you around, I have just been out on the skid pan, and also there is like a straight bit of track just down there where you get to test out sort of all the stability control and such like. And over here we have basically like a little racing circuit where you give the car a real good thrashing. Now, don't worry if you haven't got the funds to purchase an AMG yourself, because you can actually just come up and pay to do an experience, and they do also have 4x4 experiences, so if that's your cup of tea, then there is that option as well. Now, with my personal experience, because we actually purchased an AMG, we do actually get a few sort of extra things with the experience. So we were taken to like a private lounge where we were given a bit of a talk about AMG and how it was all started and that sort of stuff, and given a bit of a talk about what I'm going to be doing out on the track. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you inside and just sort of show you around what the sort of steps were, and then after that I'm going to show you the footage from inside the car, because yes, you can pay extra. I think it's £30 I paid for in-car dash cam of your time out on the track, and it shows yourself and the view out the window. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So anyway, let's crack on and head on inside. Right, so inside the actual building now then, and this is great. Got all these lovely Mercedes here, and yeah, when you come in, you sign in here at the driving experience desk just there. And one other thing that we actually done was paid for my son, who's here, to do an under 16s driving experience. So you got to go out in that. Good fun. Yeah, so that was £55, and yeah, gives him an opportunity to drive a car before he has some proper lessons. So yeah, I thought that was good. So anyway, what we're going to do is just head upstairs and we go to the lounge. So this is the area that I was brought to, the AMG area, as you can see, and this is the car that we've got. We've got ours in the sun yellow, and I'll probably just chuck a quick picture up of our car so you can see that for yourself. So yeah, that's one of ours. We've got some lovely AMGs there, G-Wagon, so on and so forth. And then I was taken to this area just over here. So again, like I said, if you've purchased an AMG, you'll be brought up to this area where you sit down and basically do like a briefing. And there we go, there's another picture of an A45 S, same colour as ours. And yeah, bloke just sat down, showed me some stuff on the screen there, saying about the history of AMG, and like I said, about what we'll be doing out on track. Now this is something I've just found quite interesting. So you've got these speakers here and that, and you can press a button and listen to the sounds of all the different AMG models. So we've got the C43. That's different, isn't it? So yeah, it's fun to play with. And like I say, this is all free as well. So anyway, let's head on downstairs. So once you've done the briefing, you come downstairs and you head to the driver's lounge. And this is where you basically check in at the reception here and give them your name. And you'll sit down here and wait for your driving instructor. So once you've met up with your driving instructor, you'll head on outside here, and hopefully the Mercedes that you've been assigned will be sat here waiting for you. Like I said, I opted to pay extra £30 to get the USB stick, which is just there, which has got all the track footage from when I went out, and that's what we're going to cut to right now.
So you'll be nice and familiar with everything.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, just get nice and used to the brake pedal, everything such as that,
Yeah.
and then pop it into drive when you're ready.
Yeah.
I'll start to talk you through the facility in the meantime. So you've got your wet circle on the left here, that's the ice surface.
Yeah.
So you're coated in grease to mimic ice. So we're going to practice that drift mode. Have you ever used the drift mode of your car?
I haven't yet, no.
Wise for the road. This one here is we've got the wet straight, exactly the same principle where we practice that EBD and CBC. We're going to do a few things that you might not do on your road car, just so you can actually get that confidence level there and see how the systems are working with the car, heavy braking manoeuvres, things such as that. The beauty of being in someone else's car means that you can really use the brakes and you don't have to think about the bill at the end of the day. So this is what we're going to move on to next. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be utilising the car through acceleration and braking. We'll pop it into its race mode. Are you familiar with how the different modes change the vehicle in terms of suspension and enhanced exhaust? Something you might not be familiar with is how it changes the throttle. The race mode only affects throttle. So the race mode creates something called a linear throttle.
Right.
So what that means is in coordination, so in correlation on the graph, if you were to put a graph as to how much you're pressing with your power versus how much you're getting from the car, in race mode it's a straight line, because it's true to power. Whatever you press is whatever you get. In Sport and Sport Plus it's called a spike throttle. So what that means, on a graph it would be a spike. It would go across and shoot up, because it's a sudden burst, but a lot faster. In Comfort it would be a curve, because it's progressive. So race mode creates the only difference of a linear throttle, and that's all it does is throttle progression. But we're going to start it in race mode here so it's nice and dry. What we're going to do is we're going to accelerate as fast as we possibly can here. When you get next to the cones, I'm going to say brake, and I'm going to do a full emergency stop. And slam the brake down as hard as you can. You won't suffer much from traction control kicking in this car because obviously four-wheel drive will just pick up really nicely. When you get towards the end and you press the brake nice and hard, we want full ABS to kick in. That's what we're going to start to talk about, is a bit of ABS and threshold braking. Okay? So when you're ready, off we go. Harder, keep tightening that pedal. Spot on, perfect. Hazards are initiated. So what we're going to do next is a bit of threshold braking. So to find the fastest point to stop a car is just before the point of ABS. That's what we're going to start to work with. Because that ABS has to pump the brakes, what it means is it's taking longer to stop the car, because every time it releases, it's not got that pressure there. So the fastest way is actually to be the ABS as a driver.
Basically just feeding it in.
So what you want to do this time, you can still press it really hard and you can still trigger the hazards.
That's my car going around there.
That's where the yellow one will be. But what you can do this time is you can press it about 3/4 of what you did. Back to lane 1. But try and press it before you get the intrusion from the ABS, and notice your stopping distance half. Really have that confidence. If you feel a bit of ABS, just release a centimetre. When you're ready, we'll give it a go. That's the point there, perfect. For that pressure point where you can still grab that bit of pressure, but just before the ABS. You released correctly. We'll try that once more just so we can get
I've done it a little bit too harsh at the start,
It takes a long time to get used to because the cars are quite light compared to the likes of the C and the E. This one will really grab the brakes and press them. So that's the difference. It takes a lot longer to get used to. We'll follow back through. So exactly the same process again here, braking that point but finding it from the get-go, and you'll see the hazard will initiate when you're ready. Perfect, that's the point. Feel how much more pressure you have with the car. Hazard have initiated again. Your stopping distance is far earlier than it was previously.
I think I could do even better than that again. It's just fine-tune it again and again.
It is fine-tuning that point, but as you can see, it's so much quicker at that point. In an accident, that's 3 or 4 cars difference. And that's a good £100,000 in your insurance. So that just shows you the difference of the brakes and how you work them through. So we'll follow it back round. Now what we're going to move on to next is something similar but on the ice. So what we're going to do here for our first braking procedure, we're going to accelerate to about 35 miles an hour. You're going to take your hands off the wheel and do a full emergency stop on the ice. Okay? When you're ready.
So 35 and full emergency stop?
Just after you get past
the
red cones. No hands on the wheel, So this is going to demonstrate the systems as they work. Not something you'd want to try in your car. There you go. If you take your hands off the wheel now, just after the blue cone, brake hard now. The car will not step out of line. The car won't let you
really feel that pedal going.
You really feel it pump against you. You've got to press back. That's the ABS kicking in big time there. So you know that the car's not going to step out of line. If you were to do the same on that surface behind us, again, it would stay in a straight line if you're at 80 miles an hour. If you try and accelerate really fast now, you'll feel the traction control kicking in. It won't let you go very far. So it's just going to stabilise you there. So we go back around, there's a little gap on the right, and we'll edge back around again. We're going to try the CBC next. So we're going to do the same procedure, but with our hands on the wheel this time, and we're going to do a lane change as we're onto the brake. Now this is really clever. Considering it's a car that's supposed to give you the absolute thrill, it's also got all these safety features on it that are really, really insane to think. Such a powerful car that you could actually have that control on a nice surface. So if you look just before the cones, you'll see there's a really faint line in the middle separating it from two lanes. So that's separating it from lane 1 to lane 2. We're going to accelerate to about 30 mile an hour in lane 1. Again, you're going to brake, but then you're going to lane switch to lane 2 and bring it to a stop in lane 2. So keep braking and steering at the same time. Imagine you're on a motorway and you're just skidding across and it's icy. That's what we're going to do next. So this is where CBC, corner braking control, is going to come in handy. You should have full ability to turn that car. Bearing in mind, usually you'd expect a car, as you turn on the ice, to drift or spin round or go straight. Similar to like an aquaplane situation. When you're ready, and we'll go to lane 1. Perfect. Around 30 to 35. Just past the red cone. Brake and turn.
It's good.
You can see it actually fully has the ability to change lane. Not entirely as grippy as a normal surface, but as much as you'd expect on a nice surface. So what we're going to do now is we are going to head back towards the dry surface dynamic where we started. We're going to do a brake and lane change, but a bit quicker on a normal surface.
Right.
So you see where the red cones are in lane 2?
Yep.
Just after those is where we're going to do our lane change. So we're going to accelerate to about, we'll start off with 40, just so you can get nice and confident. When you get just past the cones and I say brake, you're going to hammer the brake on and switch to that lane. Okay? Don't be afraid to be quite assertive.
So what, ABS kicking in?
ABS kicking in, so similar to the ice surface. So don't be afraid to be a bit assertive with the car. So tell it where you want it to go. Imagine you're in an accident situation, you've not
swerving around something.
This is going to demonstrate that CBC. So accelerate to about 40 and we'll see how we get on. Brake and avoid. There we go. You can see again you've still got that ability. So this time we're going to try it faster. Okay? So we'll go back towards the end. This time we're going to try and reach 70. So it's going to be quite a high speed manoeuvre, so I think you'd find yourself on the motorway similar to that.
So do you do many of these a day?
Yeah, quite a few. Mainly sort of passengerised and things basis from that. But a lot of that, so I come from a racing driving background. So I've been racing cars since I was about 12.
Alright.
In a lot of racing professionally, here's how I sort of get into it. But yeah, I've been part of the academy now for about a year with these guys here. Love it. It's really, really good.
Oh, but it's a great job,
Yeah. It's a great family in a way. The AMG is just a great collection of cars. You know, proper engineering. So this time we're going to go to about 70, and we're going to do exactly the same. But again, you're not going to feel like you're changing lane at 70 miles an hour when you're ready.
Good.
Full control. Something you wouldn't want to try in your own car because you don't know what's going to happen. You can see it thinks you're in an accident, hazards have come across. You had full ability and you're flat in the lane here. You're completely central. If that was a car there, you've stopped again in the space of about 50 metres and avoided an accident. And you know that you have that full confidence now to do that in your car if you're in that scenario. Perfect. So we're going to head to the drift circle next. So are you familiar with how to put the car into drift mode?
Race both paddles?
That's it. So what you've got to do is you've got to have it in manual mode, so your paddles are now going to be initiated. You've got to have as well the traction ESP turned off. So in this car, when you press the button once, it goes into sport handling mode. So that sport handling mode basically disables that CBC and EBD we've just spoken about. So all those braking systems are now disabled, and that's mainly what that system
So if
does.
that was off now and I tried to do what I just done, that wouldn't...
It wouldn't do it, it would kick out now, so the back end will go up massively. And then from there it's traction control that disables, so I'm going to disable that next. So, what we're going to practice here, this is the same surface as we've just been on, so the ice surface. I'm just going to raise to get some water. TC, can we get water on the circle please? So, what we're going to be practicing is the drift mode. If you now hold both your paddles in at the same time, there we go, now release and just do right paddle. That's how you initiate drift mode. So you've got to have it manual, you've got to have everything disabled, so press it once then hold it,
Yep.
then you do your paddles,
Yep.
it's in race mode. So now everything is going to be similar to rear wheel drive. What the main basis of this is, instead of it switching to rear wheel drive, in this car if you were to drift it normally, the outside left rear would lose momentum and then it would just go back to straight. That's what
Yeah.
we bit of understeer, things such as that. It would just lose momentum. This one now finds a little bit more power to that tyre to spin it up a bit faster by locking the rear diff so they move at the same pace to rotate the rear a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing now. So we're going to go across clockwise onto the circle and we're going to give it a bit of a go. Now, with this car, the way you drive it and drift it's different to a rear wheel drive still, because it's not quite got that same balance between as a rear wheel. Give it a go to begin with. So what you want to do is use revs instead of speed to get the back end to come out.
Yeah.
When you rev the throttle, what happens is it spins the wheels up just to spin it round, and the rear will try and outrun the front. If you were to increase the speed, it would drive outwards. So it means, imagine you're giving the car a rev, that's the sort of throttle balance you want to start using. So you'll be nice and assertive with the throttle. When the car goes in, you lift off and you counteract with the wheel to bring it back to straight. Just practice getting that back end up to begin with.
Yep.
Edging it in. There we go. And then counteracting now. Spot on. If you lift off the parent, dab the brake at this point, it goes back to straight. So with this car, you have to give it a little bit of induced steer to get it to go into its drift.
Yep.
There we go. Lift a bit and straighten up the wheel. That's it. Very close. If you feel the vibration feedback from the car at this point here, that's something called understeer.
Yeah.
So we need to reduce our lock with the wheel. So now try and get it to go in. A bit of flick. Good. Yes. Straighten up the wheel. A bit of power. Good. Much better. So you felt at that point you had it when it was pointing towards the inside and you straightened up the wheel. You keep it straight at that point and just tickle the throttle.
Yeah.
So you just very lightly keep tickling it, and that will just hold it there nicely. Good. Straighten out the wheel. Good. Perfect. Keep the little feather of power. Keep it pointing straight now. Spot on, and bring it back to straight. That was the perfect drift there. So you can feel the back end was going. It's quite a fast one because of the nature of the car.
Yeah.
As soon as you straighten up that wheel, you've just got to trust the power. It goes against all your instincts.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah.
keep turning against. But because it's not rear wheel drive completely, because it doesn't bias the power to the rear, it's a different form of drifting. Just keep practicing. Straighten out. Good. Use the power, let it settle, keep it straight. Good. If we position ourselves slightly closer to the inside, it will stop it from grabbing the outside.
Yep.
Good. Straighten out. Feather. You can see again, this inside part of the circle is similar in terms of the grip.
Yeah.
We just click it back in. Good, perfect positioning. Hold it straight. Now out a little bit to the left. Very close. Good. Spot on that drift. So you felt it was really at a really nice angle. At that point there, then start to turn left.
Yeah.
When it goes just about to 90 degrees, turn left.
Do I
and
keep
that's
the
when you
power the
counteract.
same?
You lift fractionally, then you pump. But at that point where it
Get
goes beyond
everything come
90,
up, yeah.
keep a bit of power because that's what's going to pull you back again. Okay? Good, let it go, let it go. Now straighten it out nicely. It's just going to grip very slightly. Good, straight left now. A little bit more left lock.
Definitely wouldn't want to try it with my own car on the road.
No, especially not on normal tyre. You have to carry so much more speed as well to break that traction. Good, close. It just gripped the inside point, that's the only thing that's compromising that point. Good, straighten it out now. Now a little bit left, a bit of power. Keep the power. Good, there we go. Spot on. So you feel how when you use the throttle at that point, it was pulling you back?
Yeah, I
So it
think
didn't let
I
it
think
slip?
I'm not giving it enough.
Yeah, that's it, perfect. When you picked up the revs there, it was only because it gripped the gravel again, which was going to happen. But when you picked the revs up, it was pulling itself back. It was sat at the angle, it was thinking, then it kept there. And that's how you maintain. Always front wheel drive, four wheel drive is always what you do, just power yourself out. Spot on, good. Lift a bit here so it's going to reach the tarmac section. Good. Spot on. If you feel it go too far out, you lift fractionally.
Yep.
If you feel it go too far in, you power yourself out. Good. Now again, pull it out. Straighten out. Good, pull it out. got the control there, you've got the ability to pull it back. Really, really good. And we're going to cancel the drift mode. So to cancel it, you just press any button, like your traction button. There we go, and it goes back to normal. We'll go through the blue cones, past the barrier, and then we're going to turn left. Just for the first few laps of the track, we're going to start in sport. So we go left here when you're ready. Just in case we need it, just have a look on the left here. It'll say PP on the floor. That's a pit pass box in case we need to let anyone through, vice versa. That's just an overtaking box.
Okey-dokey.
I'll let you know if I've got your mirror. When you're ready, we go cone to cone. So turning
circle, please,
little feel of throttle, then you're going to let it run tight to the left again. You keep it tight to that second cone, then you gradually let it run to the centre midway. Feed a bit of throttle, but just freeze your wheel because it will come back naturally. There we go. You brake here, you trail them into the inside, so roll off all the way to the apex. Now a bit of throttle, bring the wheel out nice and early. This is a fast right here, so you feed this throttle in to the inside point, keep increasing that power, let it run wide to the left from the exit, then power now. Your brake point is the double cones. So you start to brake around there, and you carry them in. Roll off the braking edge and it in. Feed a bit of throttle now. Wide exit to the left, keep increasing now, a little bit more. And you brake and turn here, so brake turn, roll off now, tight right, little feed of throttle. Roll off the power, dab the brake here. Tight left, let the car naturally wander a little bit, just edge it back across when you can. Keep increasing and brake and turn, good. Roll off the cone, feed the power. As you can see, it's all about vision on this track now. It's nice and open, you can see all the way through. Unlike a road where you don't know what's around the corner, this one you can see flat all the way through.
Yeah.
That's it, feed that throttle here, let the wheel come out naturally, straighten the wheel and power. And brake, good. Carry them in, rolling off as you turn, good. Feel how the brake's rotating the car in with the grip.
Yeah.
Edging it in with the power. Good. Feel the car pull its way into the corner with you with that power. And braking here, good. Hard initially, roll off pressure but keep it all the way in, good. You're turning with that brake, you're using the brake to turn the car, spot on, keep it going. Brake and turn here, rolling off, keep it tight, 10-15% throttle, and keep it tight the whole way through. This is called transition braking here, so when you dab the brake, it's for a corner where you don't need a big brake, but you want the weight to just shift to the front. So when you dab it, it just quickly pushes the weight to the front turn tires, gives you the grip in. Power now, straighten out that wheel, brake at the tarmac change, so you brake, turn with it, roll off midway, feed a bit of throttle, back tight left. Keep that balance of throttle going, then it runs to the centre, feed it back across, brake now, hard, roll them in, good, rolling off midway, lightly let it run out, all the way to the red, feed it in, nice and balanced. Let it run wide on the exit, power through, roll off the brake here, feel it rotate there?
Yeah.
So you feel it do its little dance.
Yeah, a
off
bit
the brake.
light.
Yeah, so the car's renowned for being very light on the brakes. What that means is brake that a little bit lighter, but feather it in a bit more, just to keep it nice and balanced.
Yeah.
So you see, when you're noticing it rotate left and right, always release the brake, not completely, but start to roll off as it's turning right, because that's where you want the car to be directed. Brake, turn, roll back, feed the power, straighten out the wheel, braking now, roll them in, rolling off, feed a bit of throttle, tight left, good. Every little movement counts, because every movement is setting the weight. Brake now, nice and turn, roll them in, roll them off, use all of the road here, good, about a metre after the cones when you want to turn in towards that point on the inside, let it run wide, release, what it's doing is it's just tucking the nose in. It's lifting up the rear of the car physically. When you brake, as soon as you start to release, it's making the rear go really light, which is almost making it out like a real drive, which is why you trail heavily in cars with your front wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Braking, keep it as wide as you can. Now rotate it in, give it straight as one through, get that one nice and straight, edging it out. Braking, trail them in. Good, tight right, a little bit throttle. Bit tighter, good. Edging, down brake, tight left. Let the car naturally wander here. Speed it in. Braking, rolling in, rolling back, feed the power. Braking, rolling through, rolling on. Tight left. How does it feel?
Good.
Yeah? Centralising, back across. Cars, roll through, trail it in. Use the brake to rotate. If you ever feel like you've not got enough grip, release the brake a tad more. Sounds really odd, but just rotate it. Roll them in. Edging off now. Good, see the car. Spot on there. Braking now. Roll them in. Rolling back. Tight right. Bit of throttle. Edge it across. Down the brake. Tight left. And let the car naturally wander. Braking now. Rolling back. Feed the power. Braking now. Roll it in. Roll back to the way. That's it. So nice and far ahead. Get that coordination. Put a bit of understeer here. So you can feel the time here. Now, rotate off the brake, get a bit more grip. Good. Releasing that brake to settle in a bit nicer. Really progressive. Brake hard. Roll, brake in. Rolling up the way. Light heel. Brake and trail. Rolling in. Rolling back. Tight right. Feed the throttle. Dab the brake. Tight left. Perfect. And do about a 3/4 lap now. Okay, bring the speed down. So we're going to get the cars a bit cooler. So we're going to move on to a Slalom exercise just to finish off with. How does that feel?
Right?
Really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good fun.
It is. It's a lovely car. As you can see why we call it the pocket rocket.
Yeah.
Because it really is a little rocket. It sounds mega. Compared to the likes of, you know, the 43, it's a lot more of a low sort of pitch growl
Yeah.
sound. Just makes you fall in love with it completely. So we're going to get to something called the Slalom now, so we can test the suspension differences. Perfect. So we go through and through and to the far lane this time. So we're going to do one slow run just so you can get to your bearings of the Slalom. So we've got some yellow discs on the floor in
Did
lane
you say
3.
3?
Yep, for this one. So if you start to just crawl here and just keep moving forward, you see the yellow discs on the floor?
Yep.
So you're going to go in and out of those. So if you go straight here and then go through the first gap and start weaving in and out. Good. So you're going to go through the gap, back through again, back through. Keep it right here just until we're past the cones. Then you wait, and we're going to go through this one. There we go. And then you go back through and through. There we go. So this is the Slalom. As you turn right, you're looking left. As you turn left, you're looking right. So that's exactly how you're doing it. So you're going through a left bend, you're looking to the right because you're getting ready for your next one. As you're doing the right bend, you're looking to the left to get ready for your next one. We're going to start it in comfort suspension here. So we've turned it down to its complete minimum.
Yeah.
Comfort, you're not going to expect much. We're going to do a run with a bit of power so you can feel it. It's going to start to wallow along here. So you're going to have all the power, but not much grip.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have an overpowered soft car. Then we're going to make it an overpowered firm car, and you can feel the difference as you go through. So when you're ready, off we go. Bit more power, turn it in, back across, bit of throttle, back across again. Feel it lean a lot here. That's it. Through. There we go. Feel the car going left, right a lot at that point there. So now we're going to put Sport Plus suspension on. There we go. And you're going to feel a bit of a difference here, so it's going to firm everything up. So the lovely thing about Sport Plus suspension is it creates more of a rotation of the car. So because it firms up those springs, what it's doing is it's actually pointing the nose as you go through. So the harder the car, the actual more rotation you're going to get, which is why we don't necessarily pump it up to Sport Plus mode if you're new to it, because it can actually spin out if you're too aggressive with it. But this mode here, again, you're nice and familiar and comfortable with how the car's limits are. So just give it a go and you'll feel that difference. It's not going to wallow as much.
So is there any particular speed I should be aiming for? Or?
It's similar to what you did in the previous run, but this time you should find it a lot easier.
Yeah.
You feel it almost drift its way through. But again, it's got that corner control, so you've got that nice sort of confidence in it from that first braking technique, so you know the car's going to stick in line.
Is it just A45s that you normally go out in, or is it
everything?
Everything. Is it?
GTR Pros, C63Ss, E63s. So it's a facility as well where you don't just have to be invited, you can actually book onto experiences here.
Yeah.
So people can just book an hour's AMG experience and come out and have some fun.
Do you ever do the 4x4 stuff?
I do 4x4 as well, yeah. That's quite interesting. It's one
I'd
of
like
those,
to try that actually.
Yeah.
Not into 4x4s, but it just looks a good laugh.
Yeah. The G-Wagon's nice just to get to drive it and to see what it can actually do. You know, being a Chelsea car, half the owners don't have a clue what the car can actually do.
No.
So it is an interesting one, especially taking them down the ski slope. In terms of performance space, this is more me. This is a track that's definitely more me. It's closer to my heart. When you're ready, off we go. It is great, and as I said, this is only touching the surface with all the stuff that we can do here.
Do all the cars do exactly the same thing? So, like, you know, the E63s, they do the sort of same thing?
Yeah, so they've got the things such as CVC and EBD. However, being rear-wheel drive, they're a lot more lively when you use them.
Yeah.
But when you do actually accelerate and do that 70 mile an hour brake lane change in the C63, it will move more, but again, it's not going to step out completely. It's just confidence with the different cars.
Yeah.
Drifting-wise, what you were doing to start off with, you would have absolutely nailed it in a C63. Because that's exactly what you're supposed to do, but this one you have to fight your instincts so much. But again, it's
yeah, I could do it a bit more time on that.
Yeah, it's something that takes years, just years of practice. But really well done.
I don't think I'm set out to be a drift king or anything like that.
no. That's a really good start for the car.
Right, so just come out to the car now. And as you would have seen, that driving experience is good fun, and it did last approximately 1.5 hours. And part of what I got was a certificate and also this little driving academy logbook there, which says basically everything that I've done is like all sort of been ticked. And if I ever come back again, I can basically move up to the next level. And it's definitely said about coming up here again, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you'd like to do one of the things, wouldn't you? Because as you would have seen, it was a female driving instructor I had, and you was a bit sort of apprehensive about it being a guy. So, you know, if you are a female and you'd rather have a woman being sat next to you, then that's something that you can opt for. And the final thing that we get is my AMG Driving Academy AMG Performance Program Certificate there. So as you can see, it says A45 S, and just a bit of proof that I've done today's driving experience. So there you have it then, guys. Now hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, just a favour and give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel. So thanks very much for joining me today, and hopefully catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.